All right, all right, all right. We are coming to you live, everybody. We're coming to you live right now. I am excited. I am excited about the great things that are happening. All right, now let's plug this in, and we're gonna be ready to roll. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, come on in. I am coming to you live. Here we go. This is exciting. This is exciting. This is exciting. This is exciting. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of The Journey Within, brought to you by author and public speaker Brian Skinner. Listen, we're coming to you Facebook Zoom live. This episode is being aired right on social media. Listen, Catherine, can you share this to my personal Facebook page? You can hit me out there. Um, Share this to my own personal Facebook page, and that way I can approve it. Um, because again, we're coming to you live tonight. We got some interesting things to get involved in tonight. Tonight we're talking about the episode is centered around shallow water versus the ocean. Shallow water versus the ocean. And we got a lot of things to get involved with. Listen, like, share, and comment. Again, like, share, and comment on the post on Facebook. You can look us up at author and public speaker Brian Skinner. Also, you could go on YouTube and view this page or this episode on YouTube. And so we are doing it. We are doing it. We are here. We are live. We're coming in tonight. I'm excited because this is the first episode where we're actually doing it here on social media and also Facebook and YouTube. So everything, of course, is live, and I got to see why. You again, all of this is being recorded. We're on right now. I'm excited. You should be excited because this is a very exciting time right now for all of us because this is one of those things where we're trying to come full circle tonight. Whenever you're viewing this, we're trying to come to you full circle. And so I love it. I'm here. I'm excited. This is the fourth episode. Yes, this is the fourth episode. I'm excited about the fourth episode. Yes, you can view, definitely you can view this episode right on any listening platform. If you got Apple products, this podcast can be listened to right on Apple products or Google products, Spotify, you name it. This episode is uploaded. We're coming to you now, Facebook Zoom live. I'm just excited about the great things that we're going to get into tonight because we have a lot to discuss and so little time to do it. And so again, for all of those that are coming in tonight that are going to share with us, I encourage everybody to go ahead and share this, like this, let people know that Brian is definitely on. This is definitely the podcast to the Journey Within, where we talk about the book entitled Winning in the Gray. Man, y'all got to look forward to Winning in the Gray. Winning the Gray is going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. We have a lot of things to get into with this book. There's a lot of detail, a lot of insight with this book. I'm excited about this book coming out. Originally, the book was supposed to come out at the end of December. Look like the book is going to be pushed back into the middle of next year. which is fine. You know, a whole lot of things have went on, of course, with the pandemic, this pandemonium that we're living in, the times that we're living in, racism, sexism, this pandemic with the coronavirus and COVID-19. All of these things have been happening, and so we made some adjustments on our end, and so I'm excited. Again, like, share, and comment. You can view this podcast on any listening platform: Apple product, Google product, Spotify, you name it. Whatever you listen to is on there. And also, I encourage everybody to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel of author and public speaker Brian Skinner, where you can see these episodes. And so, listen, what do you have to look forward to? Some things you can look forward to with this podcast. We're going to have guests on the show. We're going to have people to come on and share their stories, share where they are in their journey. We're going to share what their journey look like. I'm excited about all of that. Like, man, you can be on the show. All right. So what is Winning in the Gray all about? I give you that detail, and it's going to be a good segue into our topic of discussion tonight. Winning in the Gray is all about encouraging and embracing and pushing people, motivating people to do what they were built to do. All right. So in other words, what's inside of us create the world that we live in. All right. What's inside of us creates the world that we live in. That's winning in the gray. And so I talk about the oppositions that we face, the black and white systems that we face on a daily basis. And we look to talk about strategies, talk about tools that we need to use, things that we look to add to your playbook. Some much needed plays to navigate through the black and white systems that we currently face. You know, and I know that this COVID-19 and everything else that's going on in the world, our norm is being recreated right before our very eyes. Social constructs are changing right before our very eyes. And so this new construct, this new norm that we will live in, we will have to embrace gray. That's what the gray is all about. So the gray, this book operates from a humanistic standpoint. In other words, it embraces free will. It takes a holistic approach, the mind, body, and soul. It connects all three of those components. And out of those three components, when they're put together and when they start working together, it produces the world that we live in. Look at an eagle and a fish, and I gave this example on a couple of episodes ago. This example that I gave was the fish have gills and the eagle has wings, right? An eagle cannot survive in the waters, and the fish cannot survive in the air, because the way the fish and the eagle were built, they were built to live in their own habitat. So the fish have gills to breathe underwater, while the eagle has wings to live and fly in the air. So I'm encouraging people with this book, Winning in the Gray, to do what you were built to do. Because a lot of times I found in society, there are a lot of people that are out of place. Yes, there are a lot of people out of place, and people are suffocating because they are not in their habitat. Well, how do you discover your habitat? You discover your habitat by looking on the inside and looking within you to see what was placed within you, whatever that was. What's within you is going to lead you to the path or the journey that you have to be a part of. And so that's what Winning in the Gray is all about. And so we look to combat dichotomous thinkers that we are up against. And let me just tell you all, and let me just encourage you all, you have dichotomous thinkers in all the places that you love. Family, you have some dichotomous thinkers. What are dichotomous thinkers? Dichotomous thinkers say that situations or people are only black and white and there are no gray areas. That is not the case. That is not true. You have people who wants to say that you cannot do it. They suppress you, they oppress you. And so not only in their families, in social settings, in schools, our institutions around the world has a way of encouraging black and white systems. These black and white systems have been in place for so long. And so now a suppressed and oppressed people, and so many people have died at the hands of black and white systems. Why? Because the black and white systems did not encourage you to do what you were built to do. All of us are built to do something. All of us are built to build bridges. In other words, we build bridges so others can cross over. And so we have a responsibility. We have a job. If we're going to further the future, if there is going to be a future, I'm encouraging you with this podcast and with the book, do what's within you. So we talk about in the book how to discover what's within you. And then we talk about the external forces that you're going to come up against that's going to suppress or oppress you. And so tonight, this is a great segue to the conversation tonight that we're going to have. Again, like, share, and comment. Author, public speaker Brian Skinner fan page. Also, you can find us on YouTube at author and public speaker Brian Skinner, where you can see this podcast air. And then also for the podcast, we are on all listening platforms. All right, we're gonna have special guests, people from all different area codes, disciplines, walks of life. All of these people are going to be on, and we're going to have a fruitful conversation. All right, and so I'm excited about tonight. Tonight is going to be enjoyable. Are you ready for tonight? Because I know I am. That's what the journey within is all about. That's what winning in the gray is all about. Embracing what's within you so it can lead you to the world that you should live in. All right, so let's get started tonight. The topic of discussion for tonight's podcast is shallow water versus the ocean. Shallow water versus the ocean. And I'm going to bring up Maslow hierarchy of needs that's going to help with this conversation tonight, is needed tonight, given what the book is all about. We're going to go ahead and share this and get this started because there are some things that we need to discover about ourselves, and what we look for in this diagram is going to help me personally with this conversation. And so I'm excited about that tonight, about this, because again, this is a conversation that we need to have because a lot of people don't understand that they are being suppressed and that they are being oppressed on so many different levels. You got the micro level, you got the meso level, and you have the macro level, right? So let's see if we can talk about that while I pull this up. The micro level is the individual level, one-on-one. The meso level, the meso works between the systems and the individual, right? And then the macro level is the institutions, such as the economy, the government, the church, or religious institutions, schools. All of those systems work against each other. On the micro level, it's more of social environment, families, friends, any other social gatherings that you may participate in. It talks about that in that arena. And so tonight, we're going to talk about that. Very fruitful. And as you see up on your screen, we have here tonight, we have here, this is the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And so I'm going to read them off because now if we're going to have this discussion of shallow water versus the ocean, then we need to actually understand what are the elements that consist of the shallow water and the ocean. Shallow water, if you ever step in shallow water can cover like your ankle. Sometimes it can cover your knee. For some people, shallow water is enough to just cover the surface, right? Ocean water is very deep, right? Ocean water is so deep, you never really get to the bottom of the floor. But the ocean is a great, big old body of water, all right? And so my philosophy is, according to my humanistic perspective, the ocean presents more opportunity, right? Shallow water, um, shallow water has a service that it provides to you as well. And so as we look at this diagram of this Maslow hierarchy of needs, we see here that the physiological needs are food, drink, oxygen, temperature, regulation, elimination, rest, activity, sex, right? In shallow water, those needs can be met, right? And a lot of times, a lot of us experience our physiological needs being met. And so in the shallow water, food, drink, oxygen, temperature regulation, elimination, rest, activity, sex, those things are met, right? So as we go further, our safety needs, protection from potential dangers, objects, or situation, elements, physical illness, the threat is both physical and psychological. The fear of the unknown, importance of routine and familiarity. In shallow water, you all, we are provided with the safety needs and our physiological needs. And those things are important, right? And a lot of times, you all, those needs are met. And then sometimes for some people, those needs are not met. But then as we move on, you have something called love and belongingness, which means you're receiving and giving love, affection, trust, and acceptance, affiliating, being part of a group, family, friends, or work, right? Most of the times, a lot of people in shallow water experience physiological needs and safety needs. Those are the two components that people experience a lot of times. So people are prone to be very comfortable. People are prone to be very relaxed in a lot of areas. And so with that being the case, then what happens is we begin to be comfortable, right? Black and white systems have a way of promoting comfortability, right? Sometimes, a lot of times, what can bring you comfort can also bring you suppression and oppression. A lot of times we think that we're right where we're supposed to be, or this is all that we can achieve, or this is all that we can accomplish, because these two basic needs are being met, but not realizing that a lot of times we can be suppressed or oppressed at the same time. So it's amazing that while experiencing comfortability, you can experience some suppression and oppression. These are two important areas that we must accomplish and ascertain. And so if our physiological needs are met, if our safety needs are met, then guess what? We're right where we're supposed to be. Shallow, right? Loving and belongingness can be right in the shallow place as well. Receiving and giving love, affection, trust, and acceptance, affiliating, being a part of a group. A lot of times I've learned that in order to achieve this love and belongingness, a lot of times we've cut off things in our lives that we need, that gave us life, but no longer it's not giving us life simply because it's not acceptable in a whole lot of circles. But because it's giving you life and maybe people don't endorse it around you, then what happens is the individual, you, end up cutting off whatever that is to accommodate the crowd that you want to be around. So a lot of times in shallow water, Shallow water, you can experience love and belongingness, safety needs, and physiological needs, right? Esteem needs, the esteem and respect of others, and self-esteem and self-respect, a sense of competence, right? So esteem is very important. Is that respect for yourself, respect, that self-respect for yourself. It's important that we receive respect from other people. Those components are so important, right? And so I am one who thinks that you can actually somewhat experience in the shallow water some esteem needs, right? But what kind of respect are you receiving? Are people respecting you because you're proactive, you're a risk taker, you live your life the way you want to, or do people respect you because you follow the rules, you follow what people have given you and told you what to do? You have to make that decision on your own, and you have to decide that for yourself. But esteem needs could be met somewhat in the shallow water. Then you have cognitive needs, knowledge and understanding, curiosity, exploration, need for meaning, and predictability, right? Those things are important as well. Now, aesthetic needs are beauty and art and nature, symmetry, balance, order, and form. And then you have at the top of the pyramid, you have self-actualization, which is realizing your full potential of becoming everything one is capable of becoming. Now, in shallow water, you can experience physiological needs being met somewhat, safety needs being met somewhat, right? You can experience these too, depending on how you want to look at it. You would have to be the one to assess that and evaluate that in your life. But then also you can somewhat experience love and belongingness, depending on what mask that you wear, because you all know we wear different masks, we wear different faces, we have many different roles that we play, and so not all the time are you the same person in every environment, right? And somewhat esteem needs can be met as well. It depends on who you are. Are you the one? Are you the one that wants to be the puzzle piece who fits inside the puzzle? Or are you the one that wants to be the puzzle piece that don't fit? You have to decide that, right? But then as we creep into the area of cognitive needs, aesthetic needs, and self-actualization, those three areas are not found in shallow water. Those three areas are found in the ocean. Now, I would say this whole pyramid can be met over in the ocean. All of these areas of our lives, these components can be met in the ocean. This big, great, big old body of water, right? That are so endless, right? Because we change in stages. We are different in different stages, in phases of our lives, right? But a lot of times, this whole pyramid, you can find this whole pyramid in the ocean. You can experience to a certain degree in shallow water physiological needs, safety needs, loving and belongingness, and esteem needs. And you can possibly see cognitive needs in shallow water, aesthetic, but that self-actualization, all of that is over in the ocean. This whole pyramid, if you want to experience this this whole pyramid that we see, and you have to discover the steps that you need to take, but this whole entire pyramid is found over in the ocean. And so for a lot of us, what happens is that a lot of times we get caught up in the shallow water. We get comfortable with oppression and suppression. Why? Because our physiological needs are met, Our safety needs are met. We're able to experience love and belongingness to a certain degree. Our esteem needs get met to a certain degree. Our cognitive needs, if you fully came into who you are mentally, you would discover that a lot of times shallow water is not going to work for you no more. You need to be in the ocean. The ocean is endless. There's more to discover about yourself, but you cannot experience self-actualization in shallow water. It's impossible. Self-actualization says realizing your full potential, becoming everything one is capable of becoming. You have the decision to make whether or not I want to operate either in shallow water or am I going to operate in ocean. In shallow water, 3 areas can be met, 3 or 4 areas can be met. And this can change, this could change from person to person. But these 3 areas, physiological, safety, loving and belongingness, and esteem can be met. But the more and more you become more involved and in tune with who you are, you allow that voice within that you suppress, and you have to do some digging to see why you're suppressing that. And a lot of times we suppress the voice within us. We suppress the abilities within us because somebody told us that we couldn't do it. Somebody told you you can't make no money in that market for that. I remember going to school. My background is social work. I do have a couple of degrees in it. And people told me you can't make no money in it. First of all, and for me to say, oh, I'm not in it to try to make money, I do want to make money now. You know what I'm saying? But social work enables me to help people and assist people. I'm able to understand people in their environment. And so if I'm going to go beyond the call of duty to assist and accommodate people, social work allowed me to do that. So people were telling me, hey, that's not a field you want to get in. You can't make no money in it. You'll get burned out real quick. Meanwhile, there were other people that were already in the field that was actually encouraging me, man, yeah, go ahead. There's plenty of opportunity out there. Now, I could have went with the status quo of what everybody was saying and stayed in the shallow water. But I made the decision for me. Let me go out here in the ocean and let me see what this is like. Now, I got to be real. When I got into the ocean, I experienced, and I am still experiencing, some uncomfortability, right? But things are getting better with time. Entrepreneurs go through this. You decide to leave your job. You decide to go into your own business, open up your own practice. You don't want nobody telling you what to do. You want to add value to the world. You want to leave a legacy or anything like that. You go out there, you're going right into the ocean. And in the beginning of being in your ocean, oh my gosh, I should have an episode talking about the steps or the phases and the stages of being in the ocean. I think I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be the next episode. But a lot of times, you all, we never graduate or transition to the ocean because we have some things or some needs that are being met. That's just the reality of it. And so what happens is, because those basic needs are being met and we neglect other needs that we have, and we become content with these basic needs, these shallow water needs, right? We say, oh man, forget these needs up here. And so that's why one of the chapters in the book is called You're Fired, because you need to fire some people out of your lives, because instead of encouraging you to go out there in the ocean, they're enabling you to be in shallow water. Because people say, oh no, you don't want to take a risk for that. I remember at one time, the risk of going to college, depending on what household you came up in. Now you don't want to go to college. Go ahead, get you a job. You're supposed to work, put food on the table, and a roof over your head and all of that, which is true. Again, physiological needs, right? Again, no rest, safety needs. If I do it, I go along what they're encouraging me to do in the shallow water, then guess what? I can experience some love and belongingness. However, what this podcast, The Journey Within, what Winning in the Great, the book, is encouraging people, go on out into the ocean so you can actually experience your self-actualization. Because with self-actualization, it is difficult, and I am going to do the next episode is going to talk about the phases and stages of being in the ocean, because people get intimidated by the ocean. Somebody helped me with this. In fact, who helped me with this was Vanya. Vanya helped me with this. A lot of people get intimidated with the ocean because of the appearance that it has, right? But you need to actually get in, and if you ever get tired of swimming, then what you need to do is float. That's deep. Shout out to Vanya Harris. She gave that to me. But many people experience these things, and it's very difficult. What we experience in the shallow water. A lot of times, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dress up the ocean to make it seem like you're never going to have any problems, anything like that. You can experience some trauma. You can experience a whole lot of problems, a lot of heartbreaks in the ocean. However, you can experience heartbreaks and trauma in shallow water. So people become content because those three basic needs at the bottom, love and belongingness, safety needs, and physiological needs, are met. However, if you're gonna and listen, with the safety needs and physiological needs, and those are the only needs that are being met, I would suggest to you that you are surviving life and you're not living life. Life is meant to be lived. So in survival mode, because again, that was passed down from generation to generation. Survival, you heard the term survival of the fittest, right? And so as you pass that down, you have many people that engage in survival of the fittest. There's nothing wrong with it. But how do we transition from survival mode to living, right? First of all, before you fire anybody out of your life, you need to go within you and see what's within you. We all have those creative abilities. We have those things deep within us. I've met so many people that are able to do other things, but because they didn't meet the black and white system's expectation and needs, things got suppressed within them, and they never discovered or allowed themselves to be vulnerable to the place where they could experience self-actualization. Let me give you an example of that. Everybody is not meant to be a scholar, an academic A and B role student. Some of your most successful people are not ones who got their degrees. That's just real. And a lot of times you'll find out in some cases that the ones that got all the credentials and the degrees are the ones who are struggling. But the ones who don't have the degrees are the ones that are not struggling. Not saying that's always the case, but I'm just a meteorologist, just giving you what I see that's happening in the weather. Because why? A lot of times what happens is people get caught up on other people. We allow those voices that have major influences in our lives to dictate the steps or the paths that we take. And so a lot of times in our social settings, families, workplace, religious institutions, our educational institution, government, Trying to think of another one. Those institutions can either enable you or oppress you. And I found out a lot of times that people leave this life that we live not experiencing self-actualization, but they only got to physiological needs and safety needs. They might have experienced love and belongingness depending on if they did what their oppressors allowed them to do. Or you gave that power within yourself to them. So a lot of times you all, people only travel to safety needs and physiological needs and never experience the rest of the pyramid. I want to experience the rest of the pyramid, and we're going to get into it. So shallow water, you all. Physiological needs, safety needs, and loving and belongingness, you can experience that to a certain degree. Esteem could be experienced to a certain degree. But if you want to experience the whole pyramid, and this pyramid is after Maslow, who was a theorist, Maslow hierarchy of needs. This is the pyramid that I'm working off of today, just for anybody that wants to know. If you want to experience this whole entire pyramid, then I encourage you, go into the ocean. In fact, ask yourself, what's stopping me? What external forces are stopping me from going out into the ocean? Then what internal forces are stopping me from going out there to the ocean? Because I'm telling you, once you get out into the ocean, shallow water people will drown you. That's a quote in the book. Shallow water people will drown you if you are in the ocean. And what you will find out is a lot of times we see a lot of conflict because we see shallow water people, and then you got ocean people, ocean water people, right? That's colliding against each other because now physiological needs and safety needs are saying, let's just stay right here. We're not in no immediate danger. We're in known territory. But out in the ocean, we are definitely vulnerable, and we are definitely in unknown territory. And so the book is encouraging you to look and assess and reevaluate the people that are around you. And even some of the people that we hold near and dear to our hearts. I know some of y'all don't want to hear this. Some of those people could be the very ones that are suppressing and oppressing you. But the question is, why do you give them so much power? Have you thought about why do they have such a major influence in my life? It could be for a plethora of reasons. These are questions you need to ask yourself. In fact, tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, today, or whenever you listen to this, ask yourself, what is holding me back? What am I allowing to hold me back? Because a lot of times we never get to the point of self-actualization because we become comfortable with the oppression and the suppression that we experience in shallow water. Now, ocean water is not easy, you all. Oh my gosh, you got to make many sacrifices. You got to experience people telling you, I told you that was a bad idea. You shouldn't do that. That's why you got to get a new crew of people around you. Because man, I'm telling you, when stuff don't go right and everything like that, I'm telling you, you got to move around. I'm telling you, if you want to keep on that path, you want to keep doing what you're doing. I'm telling you right now, ocean water is not easy at all. However, you have a better chance of experiencing self-actualization in the ocean than you do in shallow water. So ask yourself these following questions. Who do I need to fire around me? Why are the interpretations and the opinions and the rumors of people are conflicting and consuming my mind and my heart? Ask yourself, why does Who enables the voice within you to speak? Can people actually hear you? Who's hearing me, and then who's listening to me? Who's actively listening to me? Listening is a skill. The voice within you, the ability within you is going to lead you to the path that you must walk on. It's going to lead you to your habitat, your homeostasis. And so a lot of times our morale is down, our self-esteem is down, because we're not walking the path that we should walk on, or we're not swimming or in the habitat that we should live in. Again, you take that eagle and put it in the water, the eagle will not survive in the water. If you take that fish out of water and take it out of water and put it in the air, that fish would die. Why? Because it's out of its habitat. It's a whole lot of people out here that are out of their habitat. And so now I'm working on trying to survive, and instead of living, I'm just surviving. So let's end this podcast on this note. Are you surviving or are you living? What category are you in? Are you in shallow water? Or are you in ocean water? The next episode, I'm going to talk about what to experience in ocean water. But I just want to hear it from you all. I want to hear your thoughts. Again, you can like, share, and comment. Definitely. You can like, share, comment. You can listen to this podcast on any listening platform. But ask yourself this question: am I in shallow water or am I in the ocean? Because those questions, my friend, need to be answered by you. Shallow water, your physiological needs, right? Your safety needs can be met. You can experience some type of love. But over in the ocean, you can have the whole pyramid. I know you can. There's people out there that are experiencing the whole pyramid. Next episode, we'll talk about timetables, phases, and stages. I'm excited about that. So again, like, share, and comment on Facebook, author, public speaker Brian Skinner. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, author and public speaker Brian Skinner. And you can listen to all the past episodes of this podcast right on any listening platform. All right. So again, that's the episode for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I encourage everybody to tune in, and I look forward to the next episode. Next episode can happen this week, because we got to get in. I want to get in more into what the ocean looks like, what to expect, right? I'm not going to go in that much detail because I need you to buy the book. But and listen, we're going to have other guests on the podcast. So again, like, share, and comment. Facebook again last time, and I'll let you go. On Facebook, author and public speaker Brian Skinner. You can see the video live. You can catch me on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Instagram, we do have an Instagram account, and I don't know the Instagram account right now, but that's all right. I'll give it to you next time. But outside of that, thank you for joining, and I look forward to having this experience with you again, either this week or next week. Enjoy.